Thank you, Assemblyman. I'd like to introduce my special guest today, my father-in-law, Chuck Swenningson. He was my co-pilot today. He was born on 11/11/20. And it's good to have him with me and sharing stories as we came up. It's a great generation. In fact, I think they called it the greatest generation. As far as pomegranates are concerned, it may have even happened before pomegranate came into the competitive world. The Pomegranate Festival had a challenge with the pomegranate jellies, and I ended up, I think, buying out their store and giving them as gifts that I'm not sure I'm supposed to admit that on TV. But that was some years ago in Moapa Valley. It's good to be here with you. Most politicians have an agenda, and we call that a BDR list in our world, bill draft request. And one of the things I found is that when government has power, it tends to have sometimes ultimate power, or it would like to have that. And we have what we call ethics laws, and the Ethics Commission makes sure that we do what we're supposed to do, and sometimes in that process it becomes interesting how the Ethics Commission becomes the sword of the opponent, as it were. And so one of the things that I've found with the Ethics Commission is they have certain rules that are problematic. So when the Ethics Commission assigns 2 commissioners to talk to the person who's under investigation, the Ethics Commissioners say, okay, you can admit you're guilty now and pay $1,500, or come to the full commission in a month or 2 and we will fine you $5,000. And somehow that just doesn't seem right. And so I'm working with the Ethics Commission to allow some rationality to the process. When I was first in the legislature in 2003, I had the opportunity to get appointed one of the Ethics Commissioners, George Keel, an old-time friend of mine. And he, maybe I'm not supposed to tell this story out of school, but he, as an Ethics Commissioner, was educated during an Ethics Commission meeting that everyone is supposed to declare their financial disclosure form, who is, could be, or was appointed ever to anything in the state of Nevada. And that's when he learned it, when he was hearing someone before him who hadn't done it. And so that led to the discussion about, well, I didn't do it. And so he was brought before the Ethics Commission. And it's been an interesting time, because the Ethics Commission, one of their rules talks about willful, meaning that you deliberately did something and you're a horrible person for doing so. And so I talked with him after, and he is working with me, as is Mark Hutchison, another now senator, with the reality that there are some people who do things that don't do it maliciously or even knowingly, but yet it's called willful, and that's a $5,000 fine, etc., etc. So there are things that the government does, kind of, I'm from the government, I'm here to help you. That's not original. And so yes, sometimes we have to make sure that we respect people and respect their challenges and problems. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be working on. And if you would like to have input to any of the things that I'm trying to accomplish, feel free to give me a call. So Crescent. Oh, that's BDR in case you're interested, 102, SB 102. I'm sorry, no questions allowed. Oh, no, this isn't that form, is it?
I'll give you an answer then. No. I'm wondering, though, is there no state law that requires this, this form or this revealing of your financial reports? Is this only an ethics committee rule?
You bring up a good point. The Ethics Commission is created by the legislature. So technically speaking, it's a state law. And there are forms and there are things to fill out. And sometimes in the process of teaching people what they need to do, the Ethics Commission may not have the motivation or the means to tell everybody after they've been appointed to a planning commission or a whatever it is, that these are the things that they need to do. So because you're not told what to do, you are expected to do that anyway, and that's one of the rubs. So we, in government, if we're going to hold people accountable to some standard, we have to say, by the way, these are the things that you need to do and need to say, and this is where you can find them. That's kind of a burden that we have to make sure that we do instead of impose something that keeps secret. And if I can do another one. Go ahead. That brings me to HOAs, or common interest communities. One of the challenges, it's on the same line, is, and I was talking with a lobbyist just this week, and I said I'm going to have a simple bill that allows the HOA organization to have what we call open meeting law. So we, elected officials and appointed officials, have what we call public meetings, and we allow public comment, and we have people who can come up and approach us on or after every agenda item, or before the meeting and after the meeting, so that we get input, and we don't try to make decisions in a vacuum. Well, as I was telling her that I would like an entity that has the power to take property, to be able to be accountable, to tell the person whose property they're going to take that we are going to take your property in this hearing, and therefore the person could represent themselves or have someone else represent them. Again, it's a respect kind of thing. So as I was talking to the lobbyist about my bills, she said that happened to me. I got a bill from the HOA that said I have a tree that's planted next to my fence that leaves hang over the fence, and on the other side of my wall is the park with all these trees, and they want me to cut down my tree. And so they didn't tell me that, but I found out about it because I got a bill in the mail that said I owe them $300 at $100 a week, and we started counting 3 weeks ago. And you have to cut down your tree, and there was no representation, there was no notification, it was just I get the bill for $300. So I said, you've become my poster child. And she said, I'd be glad to be. Another example of sometimes what we do to people instead of for people.